Now, this is the cold open for Let's Get To, and usually I come up with some clever thing to do. Maybe I'll interview a god of thunder. Maybe I'll just come up with some skit. But I'm here at Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Traverse City PitSpitters. It's Princess Night, and I'm walking through the concourse, and I find this, well, not a slipper. It's sort of an old sneaker, but maybe it belongs to the love of my life. When else could you find the love of your life but on Princess Night at the Traverse City PitSpitters?
Welcome to Let's Get To, your tour of America through the lens of minor league baseball. Baseball from sea to shining sea. And now, the first pitch. Opening thoughts from James Christopher. Presented by BaseballMapper.com.
And welcome to Let's Get To. I'm your host, James Christopher, and we'll be right back out to Traverse City in just a second. But first, a little bit about who I'm wearing. This is the Fayetteville Woodpecker Star Wars night jersey. It's essentially a stormtrooper uniform. It's simple. It's gorgeous. I love it. But we are out covering the Traverse City PitSpitters right now, who is the member of the Northwoods League team, the two-time champion of the Northwoods League, the Northwoods League being a Collegiate Summer League. And I thought it would be a really good opportunity at this point to kind of address two things about Collegiate Summer League baseball. It is still, I think, one of the more misunderstood forms of minor league baseball out there. And even though they have an amazing movie about it in Summer Catch, which I try to talk about as much as humanly possible, but Collegiate Summer League baseball essentially exists so that college players can get used to using a wooden bat. In college, they use a BB Cork composite bat, which honestly, they do that purely for expense. A lot of college programs can't afford to replace wooden bats at the pace in which they break. So they go play in the summer, and you've got a variety of college summer league leagues out there. You've got the Cape Cod League, which is probably the best, the Northwoods League, which is probably my favorite, but you have them all over the country. We'll be visiting one in Alaska next year. So that's what they're there for. They're actually there almost as an internship to learn how to use a wooden bat. And then also, depending on the level of competition, you're really going to be playing the best of the best. You know, if you think about the Cape Cod League, some of just the players that I'm a big fan of, like Biggio and Bagwell, came from that league. Now, I bring it up because we had an interesting moment at the beginning of the season on this show. And it was back when Major League Baseball still hadn't come to an agreement on whether they were going to play or not. And I had made a post about reassuring fans, a post I stand by to this day, that says, you know what? Major League Baseball is not the only game in town. Minor League Baseball exists, as does Collegiate Summer League baseball. I was greeted with mostly positive and supportive feedback. But I was surprised at how many people were sort of angry that I would promote Collegiate Summer League baseball. They call it exploitive. The concept that the players aren't being paid was abhorrent, and they should be allowed to be paid. Now, look, I believe that minor league baseball needs to be, those players in both minor league and independent ball need to be paid more, categorically. I don't know college summer league players, first of all, not only should they not be paid, they can't be paid because they are still technically college athletes. They are amateurs, and they violate their amateur status if they take money. Yes, the NIL exists, and maybe playing in a high-level collegiate summer league will translate later on to getting NIL money. But as it stands right now, that's the case. And yeah, baseball is a hard sport to make it in part because there are so many things that sort of are expected of you. Collegiate Summer League baseball is a super valuable and important part of this landscape, of the baseball landscape as a whole, of the minor league baseball landscape in particular. I mean, so much so that when Major League Baseball did its contraction, 2 or 3 of those leagues that they contracted became collegiate summer leagues. You usually find them in smaller towns or in towns that maybe have other markets, but then they'll also have a collegiate summer league team. You usually find them in relatively tight geographic areas, and they're bringing baseball to a lot of communities that if they didn't have that level of baseball, might not have baseball at all. Seguin, Texas is a wonderful town, but it's too small to support a traditional minor league team or an independent team. College Station, where the Brazos Valley Bombers play, same thing. We need to look beyond, and look, it's not that I'm not against money. I make the joke before that if ESPN were to buy this show, I would trip over myself to sell it. I've got like Michael Scott. I have a whole list of minor league baseball show names I could go to, but I think that we need to start looking beyond just initial bottom line. These leagues provide a valuable service for the players, because I think for as much as Major League Baseball is starting to put more pressure on the draft by having fewer rounds, I think it's still hard to tell what a Major League Baseball player is going to become if all you have are ABs at the college level, when the competition is more diluted and where the equipment being used isn't the same. So it provides a valuable service to those players. It also provides a valuable service to the game, growing the game. Most Major League Baseball players didn't grow up in the 30 cities that have a Major League Baseball team. It's just a fact. They come from small areas. They come from rural areas. Every draft we hear about someone saying, yeah, when I signed my contract was the first time I'd ever been to a Major League Baseball stadium. So I think I understand mathematically where this guy was coming from, but I just disagree. I don't think it's exploitive at all. I think it's providing an opportunity for players and for communities to have the greatest game ever invented. So we're going to go back out to Traverse City. We had an amazing time. It was Princess Night. Scott was there. Perfect.
On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Do you know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean, the fellas'
Who's on
base.
first? The Let's Get To Team of the Week.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Presented by the Baseball Bucket List Podcast.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
And we are excited to jump into covering the Traverse City PitSpitters. We've got Hannah Bronkema on the show. Hannah, how are you doing today? I'm going to be honest. We're flying out, I mean, like an hour and a half after this interview. It's 103. I cannot wait to get there.
Oh my gosh. I'm doing great, all things considered. We're on second day of a 6-day homestand. So spirits are high, all things considered, but I'm doing great. It's like 70 and sunny here, so I can't really complain.
That sounds, I can't be more excited. We're going to be up there for like 5 days total. This is going to be great. I want to talk a little bit about you though. How did you go from someone who I presume either want to work in sports or you liked baseball to now kind of doing everything that you're doing for, frankly, one of the most iconic brands in collegiate wood bat baseball?
Yeah, so I would definitely call my journey irregular. I grew up in a small town called Ortonville, Michigan. It is literally like we have one stoplight that acts as a stop sign, and that's it. One street, main street, is called Mill Street. Shoot through there, and you can probably like get through the whole town in like 50 seconds or less. So I grew up there. Then my dad moved us down to northeast of Atlanta. So I grew up in Gwinnett County and finished out high school, middle school, and then some college there. I took a gap year because originally I thought I wanted to be a speech language pathologist, and I quickly learned that that was not the case at all. So during my gap year, I worked at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. There I got to volunteer with ESPN during their college football awards ceremony. I met a lot of notable broadcasters, writers, production people, and it kind of opened my eyes to all the possibilities sports had to offer. Growing up, I was a multi-sport athlete, like literally played like 8 years travel ball, did lacrosse, volleyball, swim team, track, like cross country, everything. So sports has definitely been in my DNA. So from there, I worked there from like 2015 to 2017. Then in 2017, when my friends who knew I'd been trying to like jump into the baseball landscape said, hey, the Brewers are looking for someone during spring training, like you should reach out to Blake Shilley and just tell him that like, you know me. And I was like, okay, cool. So we did the phone interview. I passed the background check, and this was like the second week of January. And he goes, we need you out here like first week of February. And so I packed up my car, moved out to Arizona.
Wow.
Lived there for 5 years. While I was there, I worked with the Brewers for 3 spring trainings, kind of being a Jill of all trades, doing guest services, promotions. I got to run in the sausage race, which was iconic. Doing some like communication stuff, social media, community relations, truly just getting my hands in everything. And then during regular season, I was working for the Arizona Diamondbacks as a part of their fan experience team. So I was one of the rally backs. And there I also got to dive deeper into fan engagement, learning about our season ticket holders, and getting to be on the like entertainment side of sports, which I really enjoyed. Then during COVID year, the year no one likes to talk about, I started spring training working at Camelback Ranch with the Dodgers and the White Sox. Absolutely loved that. I was doing like marketing associate stuff for them. So just doing like grassroots marketing, keeping all of their fans up to date, and then trying to recruit for the All-Star game that's supposed to happen at Dodger Stadium that year. And then we all know that year came crumbling to an end.
And that year, the thing shut down the night before I was supposed to go to spring training for the very first time. I was going to see, and it was my, anyway, sorry. Anyway,
no, you're good.
So we jump ahead. Yeah.
It was one of those things where I thought like, okay, maybe like a 2-week pause. And I ended up in Idaho for literally 3 months. And I was like, what am I doing? What is going on?
2 weeks to stop the spread, right? Is that what
Yeah. Something like that turned into a whole year and ongoing. But nonetheless, obviously the sports world took a pause. And then in 2021, the Diamondbacks announced that they weren't going to have rally backs that year, which totally understandable coming off of COVID still being in the mix of everything. So I started looking for internships, and I ended up applying for the one here with the Traverse City PitSpitters. So last year I actually was a promotions and community engagement intern. Literally absolutely loved it. Fell in love with the area. I mean, like what's not love to love up here? Fell in love with the people, the front office staff. And then the position became available, and I was graduating from Arizona State with a degree in sports journalism. So I graduated in December of 2021. I was on like the 10-year plan, but that's neither here nor there. And then I applied for the job, ended up getting it, moved up to Northern Michigan. Like the 1st of February is when I moved into my place, and I've been here ever since.
I want to talk about the media part. First of all, I'm just thinking about moving to Michigan 1st of February. I mean, but I guess you're from there, so you had the idea. But I think so. I didn't really know anything about the Northwoods League until, I knew the PitSpitters because my wife's company, the National Cherry Festival, is their client, so I knew that. But I'd never been to a game until 2020 when teams like the Bismarck Larks were playing a pod, and then I was doing whatever I could to see baseball. So I went up there for the show. But I mean, how cool is it? I know the Northwoods League app is getting big, but also ESPN Plus is going to have some of the games. I mean, how cool is it to see this type of baseball getting a spotlight on a national stage?
I think it's really special. If you ask anybody, like, especially like the guys and everyone who works for like the Northwoods League, like, we have top tier talent coming in.
Absolutely.
These guys are incredible at what they do. I would consider them some of the best in their divisions across all the collegiate divisions. And then our coaches who literally dedicate themselves to the Northwoods League year round, whether that's like recruiting or checking in on old players or just following up with the guys year round to make it kind of like a family. I think that it makes sense to grow the game in this way. And as soon as we heard that ESPN Plus was like picking up the Northwoods League for a few games, I was like, what a great way to grow the Northwoods League. Because a lot of people you hear about like the Cape Cod League because it's like this esteemed, like, I don't want to call it ye olden, but basically like traditional league. Yeah. And so to have something like the Northwoods League be on a wider scale is absolutely incredible. And I think that it's much deserved, and I'm excited to see it grow.
What I love about the Northwoods League is it's top tier talent. I think on par with Cape Cod, but with a full minor league baseball experience, which you don't get at the Cape Cod League. I mean, the Cape Cod League is you bring lawn chairs and you watch baseball and you leave.
Yeah.
I think striking that balance is pretty awesome. And you guys really do it as well as anybody else. And I want to talk about a couple of different promotional nights that you guys are doing, because they hit me close to things that I enjoy. Talk to me a little bit about what's going to be happening on Hockey Night on July 28th, which is, definitely within the grasp of this episode, dropping people being able to get out there.
Yeah. So we originally were thinking of Hockey Night because the Red Wings have their like fall camp up here. A lot of the guys come up here to practice.
Oh, okay.
So it was closer to that August kind of timeline where the Red Wings are ending their season and then the guys are coming up here, which, wow, what a horrible place to have to go to. But so we were thinking about that. And then our partner at the Whitecaps is doing something similar, not really calling it a hockey night. And our company partner, Sipshine, is really close with Chris Chelios. And so we were able to have Chris Chelios agree to come out here. So he'll be here on Hockey Night doing autographs and everything else.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we're really excited. Sipshine's also super excited. And then we're planning on doing some on-field hockey games in between, some guest the hockey player, and we may get some blackout and like block out some of our teeth. Who knows?
I love that. Let's talk Ted Lasso, and I'm gonna ask you about Ted Lasso night, but I have to start with my Ted Lasso impression. Just give me a second.
Please do it.
You know what the best thing about baseball is? If you lose tonight, you just play tomorrow. You know what I mean? You just keep playing tomorrow. Sorry.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I dressed as him for Halloween and stayed in character with all my students. It got exhausting for them. But yeah, so, I mean, and I ask about Ted Lasso for a couple of reasons. One, I've not seen a team do a Ted Lasso night yet. And so that I don't know how this no-brainer was, but how cool is it that you guys can sort of adapt to things that are relatively culturally new? Like you guys have Star Wars night, but that's been around for 40 years. Ted Lasso is we're just finished season 2, right? So how cool is it to be able to be that reactive with some of the pop culture things you guys adopt to?
So what was really exciting for us is when we sat down to like build out the promotions calendar, one thing that we all loved was Ted Lasso. We also have T-Bays up here, which is like the Traverse City area schools, and they have a huge soccer presence up here. Okay. Like we have giant soccer tournaments and everything else going on all throughout the summer and fall. And so for us, it kind of made a no-brainer to connect things that we love as well as things that the community would love. So being able to do a Ted Lasso night and kind of pioneer that night out where, like you said, nobody else is doing one of those, but it's so culturally relevant, I'm really excited to see the turnout.
Okay. 2 more I want to ask about then. Polish night. As a Polak, my real last name is Dzidzic, not Christopher. Yeah. It's a handful.
I'm shocked.
Why we go by Christopher. It's my middle name. But so, I mean, like, is there a big Polish population up there? Is that what drove this night?
Yes. So we actually work in conjunction with the town of Cedar for Polish Heritage Night. So we have already had a meeting with them. So we're literally doing like all Polish food. We'll have the Polish national anthem. We're going to have some Polish dancers. We're going to have polka dancers here, if you will. We're going the whole 9 yards. Everything and anything that we can bring to this ballpark, it's going to be here. We did it last year and we knocked it out of the park, and we're excited because this year it's just going to be even bigger.
I might have to come back. Okay, so all you have to do is do a yes or a no.
Okay.
Will there be, for Star Wars night, an alternative jersey, and will it be up for auction?
Yes and yes.
If you want to email me a sneak peek, I'll make sure I'm a bidder. I'm actually winning one from Fayetteville just right now. I love that. Yeah, I just kind of keep him here.
So good.
Yeah.
That's one of the better baiters I've seen.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so on my wide shots, he sits by me. But now clear your head.
Okay.
It's time to play a little pepper.
Okay.
All right. What is your go-to ballpark food?
Hot dog.
Okay. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
The strangest thing you've seen at a ballpark?
Old men laying in the outfield, like in the lawn area with their shirts off, tanning.
I didn't say grossest thing you've ever said. I said,
I'm sorry.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Oh, I'm torn. I have 2 cats, but I'm definitely more so a dog person, so I'll go dog.
I find that more people in baseball are dog people. I mean, I have a German Shepherd snoozing underneath my desk right now. So,
I love that.
All right. So what is the first time that baseball ever broke your heart?
Honestly, probably, that's a hard one. I'm trying to think. All I keep thinking of is sports and heartbreak is when the Falcons lost the Super Bowl, but that's neither here nor there. That was extremely traumatic for me.
I'll allow it though, because that was like everybody else. I was rooting against Tom Brady, and
it was sad. It was hard. It was a hard year for me.
That was definitely painful. Are you a Braves fan?
I am.
Congrats on your World Series.
Thank you.
That wasn't nearly as heartbreaking as the Astros losing 2019. That sucked. But okay, what is outside of the PitSpitters, your favorite team in minor league baseball at any level? Your favorite team brand, excuse me.
Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Wow, I love how immediate that answer was too. That's great.
I will defend them until my last dying breath.
I'm gonna get to see them for the first time next year, so we're excited. All right, Star Wars or Jaws?
Star Wars.
Okay. Kevin Costner is a cowboy or a ball player?
Oh, man. Let's go cowboy.
Okay. You know what? I'm so glad because people outside of Yellowstone, people forget he's also done a lot of other really good Western movies, including winning an Oscar for one. All right. When you go to a new ballpark, where is your favorite spot to sit?
Well, I feel like I'm kind of a ballpark snob, so I want to be like as close to the action as possible. So probably my favorite spot is either down the third base or first base line, kind of within those first to second rows up from the field.
Okay. And last but not least, whenever it's February in Michigan and you're dreaming of baseball, what is your go-to baseball movie?
Moneyball. Easy.
It's so funny. The guy from the Whitecaps yesterday, Steve Van Wagner.
Yeah.
Also said Moneyball. All right, Hannah, thanks so much for jumping on Let's Get To. We're going to get back to our Traverse City coverage. But again, Hannah, thanks so much for all your assistance in putting this together.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time and thanks for thinking of us.
From the bleachers, the Let's Get To Game of the Week.
And welcome to From the Bleachers. You might say we're having one enchanted evening out here at Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Traverse City PitSpitters. It's Princess Night. I'm wearing my official Let's Get To Princess Night t-shirt that you can get on our website. Shameless plug. We've got a great time. Scott's here. I'm here. Jessica's here. The Kokomo Jackrabbits are here. Check out how much fun we had watching the PitSpitters take on the Jackrabbits on Princess Night. There are a lot of impressions about college summer baseball that the Northwoods League puts to bed pretty early. It's competitive college ball mixed with a truly minor league baseball experience, and few people do that better than the Traverse City PitSpitters. When you arrive at Turtle Creek Stadium, you're greeted with a first-class experience in a beautifully, deliberately designed ballpark. And the brand itself is also world-class and also beautifully designed. Created by Brandios, it's an example of a minor league team that perfectly embodies the community. From its cherry-themed word mark to different incarnations of the base logo, including references to the iconic Upper Peninsula, it's a brand that reflects so much of Northwest Michigan culture. And in 2020, they let that connection to community shine when they created their own pod league, featuring teams like the Great Lakes Resorters and the Northern Michigan Dune Bears. The first thing that strikes you about the ballpark is how it feels like one singular design. It doesn't feel hodgepodge or thrown together. It offers a cozy, more homey feel, being one singular structure, and with the suite level extending all the way around the concourse, it's like you went home for a baseball game. And what's better than going home in baseball? In the outfield, the views beyond the wall are unobstructed, giving you a great view of the Michigan sky that seems to go on forever. And of course, it's a Northwoods League park, so we need some, Northwoods. At Turtle Creek Stadium, intimacy is the name of the game. Every seating option in the lower bowl gets you right on top of the action. And I love that, despite the rain earlier and the threat of rain still on its way, this family got there early for their spot on the berm. Funny story, we were on the field when the PitSpitters were warming up, and all of a sudden, as we're standing in center field, they start sprinting to us. It was a little freaky and a little fast that we weren't able to start recording the camera on time. Turns out they were running to touch the 400-foot sign. We did get one straggler on camera doing it. And even the mascot Monty has his own pregame ritual as he runs up and kisses the logo. And it's not just about winning, but it's also about having a great time at the ballpark. And sometimes it's no better brought to life than a theme night. We were there for Princess Night for the second year in a row, and it was a blast. And this time, we came prepared with our own t-shirts. They had face painting, Disney songs between innings, and the staff of the event made it much more immersive. We even had princess musical chairs hosted by their on-field host, Connor. And speaking of Connor, and so we are super excited to be joined by Connor, the on-field host for the Traverse City PitSpitters, or should I say, Prince Charming, the best-looking guy at the ballpark.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
So, Prince Charming, what's the over-under on number of glass slippers that we think we'll find tonight?
Oh, man, I'm going to be keeping my eyes out. If you get one, you're lucky.
That's the truth. And I got one, and she's right behind the camera. Talk to me a little bit about Connor. Like, these nights oftentimes get criticized, and sometimes they're loved. Why is it important to have theme nights like this and Princess Night in particular?
Oh, well, this is a great opportunity for a lot of people to come to the ballpark for the first time and enjoy some baseball. What I really love about the organization here is we understand it's an experience. It's not just about the product on the field. It's the food, it's the entertainment, the between innings, and that's what I love about it. And this is an opportunity just to kind of liven it up, bring in some new people to experience our ballpark, and hopefully come back another time.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about your process then. I mean, how thought out is your sort of shtick through the game, or is it a lot of just riffing and having a good time?
Oh, we have a great front office that prepares us for all our stuff, but we kind of have to roll with the punches. So yeah, we'll have I've always been told the best thing is there's no bad promo, It's only bad contestants. So we just get good contestants and contestants that are excited to be out there, and we get them excited. And so we get a lot of great people to participate in our games, and they make the experience for all of us. One of the things
as we get out of here, I feel like ball games like this are better with folks like you. And I always find it shocking that there are teams who don't have one, who don't have an on-field host. I mean, how important is it to sort of be the glue for the whole ballpark experience?
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to say. But we're a part of the experience, and we see it. And again, we see this as a holistic experience. It's not just the product on the field, which we can't control.
Right.
We're going to have good games, we're going to have bad games, but the things we can control is that entertainment and bringing that experience night in and night out. And that's not just us. That's the food. That's our awesome servers. I mean, it starts at the top, and it's bottom to top. The whole organization, people have that feel, and that's why I love being a part of this organization.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Good luck tonight, Your Highness. And thanks for jumping on Let's Get To.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's always a great time at the PitSpitters, even when it comes to competitive t-shirt tossing or competitive ribbon dancing. I'm reminded of the civility of the game anytime I see the coaches and the umpires gather around home plate to go over the ground rules. I like baseball so much because it feels like a nicer game in a world that's getting increasingly less nice. As often happens, the game passed us too quickly, and the overcast conditions gave us a great array of baseball skies as the sun set. The PitSpitters are one of the best examples of how to play the greatest game ever invented and put on a great show while doing it. We love the atmosphere so much that it will now be a yearly visit as we continue to develop and shape the show. Tops, the Around-a-Hornosaurus, had a great time in the ballpark. Scott McEntire, for his first on-field experience this season for Let's Get To, really enjoyed the entire PitSpitters experience. It was so much fun hanging with the folks from the National Cherry Festival. We'll hear from them a little bit later, but that festival itself is also a great time. And we have so many thank yous to send to Kenneth from the National Cherry Festival for helping us coordinate a great day. And for those of you wondering at home, yes, I did in fact find the owner of the missing sneaker, the only princess I'll ever need. So thank you again, PitSpitters, for another amazing ballpark experience. Y'all are doing it right.
Show me the merch. Fashion, baseball style. Presented by the Baseball by Design podcast.
And we're here at Turtle Creek Stadium, home of the Traverse City PitSpitters. I'm standing outside the Pit Shop, where you can stop to get all of your pit spitting gear. PitSpitters merch, plain and simple, is sharp. Featuring one of my favorite grandiose designs, the use of the main art as well as several compelling secondary logos allows for a variety of looks fit to every taste. And look, there is truly nothing more depressing than flying to a city, working to get to the ballpark, finally getting to the game, walking into the team store and seeing, 3 t-shirts to choose from and one sort of weird cap. It happens more often than you'd think, but it doesn't happen in Traverse City. The merch is high quality. It's a fun variety from on-field looks to jackets and tees to championship gear. There's lots to choose from. And this year they revealed an alternative identity, the Cork Dorks. It's a fun look and logo, and speaking from personal experience with a mother and father-in-law with a propensity for visiting wineries, the name seems fitting. Regarding the new look, via Paul Caputo from sportslogos.net, the team described the new identity as an affectionate term for wine enthusiasts. The Cork Dorks pay homage to the 40-plus wineries along Michigan's west coast. So it's another win for Traverse City, as they chose an alternative name that reflects just another aspect of their community in a fun and accessible way. This was our second trip to Traverse City, and I find myself loaded down with jerseys and even, that's right, Ed, a dad hat. It's a great brand that's really a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what they do next. So again, check them out online or come to Turtle Creek Stadium yourself. You would not regret a trip to Traverse City, but whatever you do, make sure you get all of your PitSpitters gear directly from the Traverse City PitSpitters.
Holler and a Swaller, a chug of ballpark brew. Presented by The Hitter Sports.
And welcome back to Holler and a Swaller. We're coming to you from Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Traverse City PitSpitters. This is one of my favorite ballparks to both holler and swaller at. Remember, this segment brought to you by The Hitter Sports. So they have a couple of really nice bars inside the ballpark, and we're at the pit stop that's brought to you by
the Traverse City Whiskey Company, where you can get, surprise, surprise, whiskey drinks. Right now, I am drinking the PitSpitters Cherry Tea, and now we're going to throw it over to Scott McEntire to see what kind of beer he's got.
Thanks, Jim. Glad he's over there enjoying the whiskey drink, but I am enjoying a blueberry cream ale from Cheboygan Brewing Company, not the Shuh that's over in Wisconsin, but the Chuh that's here in Michigan down by Mackinac. But this is the Craft Beer Clubhouse sponsored by Shorts Brewing Company, which is 40 minutes away from here, I'm told. Not bad, but let's see what we've got going on here. By the way, I really want to thank the Hitter Sports just for making this possible because I get to drink on it. Love it. Oh, that's good. Jim has no clue what he's missing out on here. This is great. He's over there with his whiskey drinks and his vodka drinks, and I got a lager drink and a cider drink. I'm going to kick it back to him, though. Jim, I don't know what to tell you. I hope you're enjoying your cherry drink.
Thanks, Scott. So again, Holler and a Swaller, we're so excited to be out here watching the PitSpitters. So to everybody at home, holler and a swaller, baby. Woo!
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
The seventh inning stretch. What's going on outside of the ballpark? Presented by the Dad Hat Chronicles.
So we're excited to welcome to the seventh inning stretch segment of Let's Get To Kat Paye from the National Cherry Festival, which I've been to and had a blast. Kat, thanks so much for jumping on Let's Get To.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So like I said, we got to go last year, and I do understand from what my wife said, it was different in COVID, but still a really, really good time. Tell me a little bit about you and how you sort of got associated with working for the festival.
Certainly. So I have been a part of the festival for 32 years. I know. I don't look that old. I get it.
You look 32. So
I love that. Thank you. I turned 40 this year. So I started volunteering when I was 8. And,
wow.
Doing everything which you saw in our concession tents, ice cream and Pepsi, and making ice cream cones and scooping ice into the Pepsi and doing all those great things. And I slowly graduated through all of the ranks of volunteering because you can start being an ambassador when you're 12. So I started a little before that. My mom and family have been involved as long as I have. They still are. My mother has been feeding all the ambassadors, which is our volunteer corps. With 2,400 people that are our ambassadors, and she feeds them all every day. So she has an entire volunteer oasis that feeds our volunteers. She's been doing it for 28 years and loves it. So it's a very family ingrained thing. I ended up on the board of directors and for the foundation here, and that was an amazing experience. And then asked to join staff 10 years ago, and I was the operations director for 5 years, and now I've been the executive director for a little over 5. So I got to join as the executive director in 2016 and got a couple really great years. And then in came pandemic. and
we keep thinking we're out of it and it pulls us back in. It's like The Godfather or something.
It's been a wild ride. We rode a really big high. All of 2019 was an amazing year for us. And we plan out several years in advance, like most festival and events. So we were really already planned for 2020 and 2021 when everything kind of went to a screeching halt. We pivoted a lot in 2020. We did a lot of online sales. We shifted to retail. We're super thankful that our festival celebrates cherries, which is a product we can really wrap our heads around and say, okay, we're going to produce all this stuff with cherries in it and start selling it. And that's how we're going to stay alive. And we did. And 21 came, and 43 days before the festival was going to happen, our governor here in the state of Michigan decided to open up the state. So we had a 43-day window to just turn on as much as possible. And anything we could do, we did, because we were trying to, again, survive. And it's been an amazing year. We did a lot last year, but this year we have hit quite a few home runs. Pun intended.
Pun intended. Look at that. She's already part of the show. You're in. One of the things I noticed, even in the COVID year where I went, was the community buy-in felt top to bottom. Like the community was all in. And I'm curious as to just how much of that is part of the reality of the event.
I always say we're either loved or hated. And when we're hated, we're hated for traffic. So our community here is small. Traverse City proper is not gigantic. Grand Traverse County it's much larger, more like the 100,000 people. Well, when the National Cherry Festival happens, we are 500,000 people.
Wow. Okay.
And our infrastructure is just not built for that. The majority of our hotels here are 45 to 75 room buildings, not hundreds of rooms. You don't have skyscrapers here. We have rules in this town on how tall your buildings can be. And all of those are, yes. So we are very much still the quintessential small town. And you notice that when you walk downtown Front Street and things like that. So when we bring in national acts, like I know you're going to talk to me about Dwight Yoakam and all the really cool stuff going on, when they all come in and the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, we take over, and we know that. And all we love having visitors to our community, and we are a very touristic centric area, but the locals, it drives them insane. So half of the community, I think, just says, oh, it's Cherry Festival, we're going to stay home. And the other half embraces it. And there are volunteers. And then we have volunteers from around the state who's just visited us, like you guys, who come back and go, we had so much fun. We're going to come back and now we want to volunteer. So we have those people too, who now come back year after year and have been coming up for generations. We are celebrating our 96th annual National Cherry Festival this year.
Wow.
So yeah, we were founded in 1926 by the growers themselves, the cherry growers here. And we still produce 70% of the nation's tart cherries right here in our region. So we're very strong in cherries. And so the community really does back us. But if you ask the locals, they'll tell you they either love or hate us.
I wonder if it's the same way how I feel about South by. Super glad it's here.
Yep.
Don't need to go every year, but popping in and out of the shops and stuff, it definitely felt like there was a vibe to it that was really cool. So you guys are kicking off July 2nd.
Yep.
You've maintained this thing for a week. Now, I run a 4-day film festival and I'm dead on my feet. How are you guys when July 9th rolls around? How are y'all feeling?
Well, really, by the time the festival starts, we've already been at it because it takes about 4 days to build it. So we've already been at it for almost a week. So by the time July 2nd runs, we've already done 4 or 5 full days of crazy hours trying to get everything ready to go. And the Blue Angels or the jet team, whoever's flying that year, this year is the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. They come in on the 28th. So before we've already been doing this for 4 days before this festival starts. And then, we get through July 4th weekend. So the 2nd, 3rd, 4th is Monday. So we get through opening weekend of air show. Then we start with parades. And oh, by the way, we've had a large concert every night for 8 days.
That's what we're getting to next, the concert.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the 9th, we have another big parade, a huge festival of races with a half marathon, 15K, 10K, 5K in the morning, parade in the afternoon, another concert that night. And then as soon as that concert is done and the light towers go on, we start cutting fence. We have 24 hours to get off the city park.
Whoa.
So then we run around and you get that extra adrenaline rush because we're like, we got to go. And so we pack up and you've seen our property. It's not tiny. All those tents, fence, everything else, all the vendors come in and we work through the night, Saturday night into Sunday. And then Sunday, 6:00, we turn the property back over to the city. Turn on the sprinklers and say, peace out. Thank you so much.
So, okay. Well, that means you guys are tired on July 12th. I get it.
We are. We take 2 days off to nap.
To nap. And then you start working on year 97, I guess, right? Like
we do. And our other events. So at the Festival Foundation, we have a lot of events, including a mountain bike race in November. So we actually are knee deep in that simultaneously with our staff of 7. And we will be kind of tipping off that. And then we have a New Year's Eve event, a St. Patrick's Day event, a Thanksgiving event. So we constantly are in the cycle, but we do take some time off in July and then August to kind of regroup and take a little time for our families.
And before we do get to the entertainment, because I think people are going to be shocked to hear a small town like Traverse City, which you guys are bringing in. But I would like my audience, if they haven't put it together yet, we're covering the Traverse City PitSpitters Cherry Festival. I shouldn't insult my own audience, but I just want to make sure they were up on the uptick. In Texas, we have a lot of these, what you might describe as cute little festivals. And, we have the Strawberry Festival in Poteet, and they have whatever local band is there. And boy, it's fun. You guys actually blow the top off this thing. And just looking at some of the variety, Sheryl Crow, Dwight Yoakam, who my wife was now going to be extra upset we're not going to be there for the actual festival because he's one of our favorites. Nelly, Collective Soul. I mean, how important is it to bring in big acts, but also a variety, like different kinds of acts?
So we really thrive and really try to make sure that we are appealing to every audience, which is why you see, I mean, we've got Jim Gaffigan, who's a comedian.
Yeah.
And then the night before that is Nelly. There's nothing that makes me, yeah. You look at our lineup and you're just like, what?
I am drinking a cherry Coke, by the way, not on purpose, but there we go.
Well, I mean, if it was a cherry Pepsi, it would be better because Pepsi is our sponsor, but I still like it. I know.
I've messed it up. I'm sorry.
You are doing cherries, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
We really try for the appeal to everyone. So we've had Jeff Dunham, the ventriloquist before, Darcy Lynn, the ventriloquist, Impractical Jokers, now Jim Gaffigan. So we try to have a comedian, something that's non-music. And then we try to appeal to all the audiences. So we'll have, like the ZZ Top and Collective Soul. And then the next night we'll have Boyz II Men and Nelly. And believe me, the middle school girl in me is very excited about Boyz II Men.
So the high school guy in me is definitely excited, like Collective Soul and Tesla. But the question I wanted to ask is, and I hope this isn't insulting or awkward, but when you think sort of the National Cherry Festival, Traverse City, not a big town, do you have to kind of sell the acts? Like, yeah, this is definitely worth their time to come. It's going to be a huge crowd and a good time.
Certainly. It's kind of both. We have an amazing production team, Meridian Entertainment, that books all of our acts for us. So what they have to do is say, okay, we have a 4,500 seat venue. It's on the water, Traverse City, Michigan. We have a festival of 500,000. Here's how many tickets we believe we can sell. Most of our shows almost sell out if they don't go completely clean. We never have a seat left in the house. Things like Sheryl Crow, Collective Soul, ZZ Top, they've all played for us before. So they're very familiar with us. And we roll out quite the red carpet with the cherry pie and the cherry pie flurries and all the good stuff. Sheryl Crow had so much fun here last time. She actually went deep sea fishing before her show on the charter boat out in West Grand Traverse Bay.
That's great.
Caught fish, brought it back to our catering team, and they cooked it up for dinner. So her fishing experience actually fed our staff and her for dinner backstage, which was super fun. I love to tell that story because she talked about it going out on stage. She's like, you guys know what I did today? Well, I went charter fishing. So a lot of these artists just love the venue. It faces the water. I know you guys didn't quite get to see that, but it's a fantastic, you get up on that stage and you have the most beautiful view of West Grand Traverse Bay and all the boats and the sunset. And you're like, whoa. I mean, it's an experience. We build a beautiful venue. It's very different though. And we are limited because it's 4,500 seats. We can't get bigger. We don't have any more space. So we are restricted by some of the costs of acts too. We spend a good amount investing into the artist fees, but we have to make sure we can get a return on that with our ticket costs. And we're pretty low when it comes to ticket fees, but to see Sheryl Crow for us around $60. So that's not horrible, but a lot of people come to a festival like ours and expect things for free. So we do both. We have an ungated, open festival grounds that you can go to, and 90% of what we do is free. And then we do have ticketed venues like our Bayside Music Stage and different areas of our air show. But even our air show is free unless you go into a ticketed venue that involves food or beverage or something of that nature with it.
But I love that. Makes it very community friendly because, I might not want to spend. I mean, I might spend up to $100 to see Sheryl Crow if I get to be that intimate in that type of a venue. So outside of the music, what else are people able to do? What can we eat? Just give a quick rundown. There is no quick rundown, is there?
No, I can do it really quick. I'm really good at this now.
Okay.
10 years. I got this.
10 years. All right.
So the best thing, here are my favorite things of the festival. There is something for literally everyone. We have 8 nights of concerts, 2 amazing parades. Each of our parades is 100 to 130 units. They're not little. The Community Royale and the Grand Cherry Royale. These are beautiful rolling storybooks of our community. We have a ton of free events for kids, everything from sand sculpture contests to a pet show. We have royal pageantry for our kids. First graders, our Prince and Princess program is astounding and amazing. Every elementary school has a Prince and Princess. They're first graders. They dress up in their royal wear.
Oh my Lord, that's amazing.
Oh, it's adorable. They participate in a lot of events like pit spitting, pie eating, pet shows, sand sculpture contests. We have 150 events over the 8 days. We have hole-in-one. I mean, you name it, we have it. And we have really thrived and strived over the years to make sure that we have something for everyone. So you look at our schedule and as I said, 90% are free. The Festival of Races is a big thing. There is something going on every day, all day to celebrate cherries. And the best things to eat are down in our open space park, the cherry pie flurry, the cherry pie, chocolate covered cherries, cherry jerky, cherry cheese, there's cherry margaritas, there's cherry beer.
We had cherry margaritas actually when we were there.
Yes, those are made with cherry concentrate from Traverse City grown cherries. So we really celebrate cherries in any way, shape, or form we can. As I said, cherry pie eating contests, cherry pit spitting. And we do love that our hometown baseball team is, of course, the PitSpitters. We are honored by that.
I absolutely love it. And by anybody that wants to come out should come out. You can check them out at cherryfestival.org. Last question, Kat. I mean, you guys are generally always around 4th of July-ish, right? So
yes, the first weekend in July.
Okay, so people who want to maybe plan for 2023 can start to pencil it in for that period of time.
Yes.
All right. Well, Kat, thanks so much for jumping on Let's Get To, and we can't wait to see you when we're out at the PitSpitters game.
Perfect. Can't wait to see you guys.
Raiders of the Lost Diamond, digging into baseball's past. Presented by Finn Lake Media Design.
And welcome to Raiders of the Lost Diamond. I'm standing on the field of Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Traverse City PitSpitters. I'm about 380-ish feet away from home plate. Don't ask me to do the math. I went to film school. But did you know that this is not the only example of baseball being played in this area of Michigan?
So enough bumming around. Let's jump into this Raiders. The Traverse City Beach Bums were a professional baseball team based in Traverse City, Michigan, a suburb of Blair Township, from 2006 to 2018. The Beach Bums played as part of the Independent Frontier League. The Bums played their home games at Werfel Park in Traverse City, named for then owners John and Leslie Werfel. The Beach Bums were Traverse City's first professional baseball team since 1914. Predecessors included the semi-professional Traverse City Hustlers of the 1890s and the Class D minor league Traverse City Resorters from 1910 to 1914, a name they kind of brought back during the Traverse City Pod League of 2020. Following the 2004 season, the Frontier League granted a franchise for Traverse City. However, the league was not sure whether to consider the team for expansion or relocation. Then in 2005, the Richmond Roosters were purchased and the franchise moved to Traverse City. The move and a slow start in Traverse City led to a 7-year franchise absence from postseason play. The Beach Bums advanced to the 2010 Frontier League Championship, dropping the series 3-1 to the River City Rascals. Closer Scott Mueller, who went 4-4 with a 2.04 ERA, and Charles Birch, who hit .299, helped pace the Traverse City Beach Bums that year. The team then established consistency with players such as 2012 Frontier League MVP Jose Vargas, but lost in the division series in 2012 and 2013. The Beach Bums did add to franchise championship history in 2015, advancing from a play-in game to take the title in a best-of-5 series, defeating the aforementioned River City Rascals. The 2015 Bums were led by pitchers Ian McDougall, Kramer Champlin, and Andrew Brockett, along with third baseman Jose Vargas and outfielder Brandon Jacobs. Declining attendance was the death knell for the Bums and led to the team being sold at the conclusion of the 2018 season to owners of the West Michigan Whitecaps. The franchise left the Frontier League to join the Summer Collegiate Baseball Northwoods League, and the team's name was changed to the Traverse City PitSpitters. The stadium was then renamed to Turtle Creek Stadium after the sale. The franchise's final Frontier League professional game was a 9-2 loss to the Windy City Thunderbolts, played at Werfel Park on August 31st, 2018 before 3,100 fans. The Frontier League ties aren't over yet, however. The former Beach Bums are represented in the Frontier League Hall of Fame by Bums pitcher Scott Dunn and first baseman Chase Birch. Since joining the Northwoods League, the PitSpitters have been a dominant force in the league, winning 2 championships already, one in 2019 and one in 2021.
on to close it out, the right-hander from Houston, Texas, James Christopher.
So that does wrap up this episode, and it wraps up our trip to Turtle Creek Stadium, home of your Traverse City PitSpitters. Make sure you're staying tuned to Let's Get To this summer. We're going to be coming to you from Daytona. We're going to have our special 4th of July episode. We're going to be coming to you from South Dakota at some point. So we are definitely going all around the country. Now, all you have to do is go to whatever ballpark is near you. Get you some peanuts, get you some Cracker Jack, and most importantly, let's get to.
Let's Get To is presented by Twitchy Dolphin Media. Creative Director, Jessica Bybee Jedgetts. Executive Producers, James Christopher, Andy Tom Chesson, and Scott McEntire. Produced by Andrew Nelson and Eric Mertens. Associate Producers, Timothy Jedgetts and Jess Canaster. Music by Andy Bertelson, Grace Usselman, and On Holiday. All content created by Let's Get To is the sole property of Twitchy Dolphin Media. All content created by teams covered in the episode are the sole property of the trademark holders. Let's Get To is a proud member of the Curved Brim Media Network.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, I'm James Christopher, host of Let's Get To, and we are going to be taking you on a tour of this great country through the lens of minor league baseball. That's right, from sea to shining sea, we're going to be looking at towns big and small as we explore the greatest game ever invented.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Data Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
And I'm Paul Caputo. I tell the story of America one minor league baseball logo and nickname at a time on the Baseball by Design podcast.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.